بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Welcome to FIQH AL-MUAMALAT series. Today's topic is basically the challenges that you may face in studying FIQH AL-MUAMALAT or learning Islamic finance. So we would like to highlight in this session the different types of challenges that the students may face or the learner may face in the course of learning FIQH AL-MUAMALAT or the Islamic financial transactions or Islamic finance. This is very important in order to recognize those challenges and manage them in such a way to overcome them and make this discipline handy, easy to digest and understand. So let's start by highlighting the challenges first, then later on we'll provide the solutions for those challenges. The first challenge that you may face is basically the Islamic finance terminology. So you will be facing hundreds of new terminology which are originated from Arabic language, such as contract, عقد, بيع, مرابحة, مشاركة, استصناع, تورق, حطيطة, تنازل, وعد, مواعدة, سلم موازي, استصناع موازي, جعالة, هامش الجدية, عربون, and many others, إجارة, سلم, استصناع, for example, مشاركة, قبض, قرض, سلع, and إجارة, for example, رهن, ربح, and so on and so forth. The different terminology that you may face in the course of learning, but don't worry about that. Don't get frustrated or don't run away, but just stay with us because we will provide a kind of solutions how to overcome those issues and challenges. But it is very important to recognize that you may face yourself throughout the course of learning with hundreds of aliens terms that maybe you are the first time to hear about it and which are originated from the Arabic language. As I mentioned, such as those terms like tawarruq, for example, or mudaraba, musharaka, and the like. So that's the first, the challenge that you may face. The second issue is to understand the concept. You know, when you say murabaha, what means murabaha? When we say wakala, what is wakala? When we say salam, what is salam? When we say istisna, what is istisna? When we say arbun, what is arbun? When we say ju'ala, what is ju'ala? When we say, for example, qabd, what is qabd? And so on and so forth. So understand the concept, meaning you have to understand the challenge of the term. Then once you become familiar with the terms is the concept. So you have to know that murabaha is a cost plus, mudaraba is a partnership, contractual contract on the profit, musharaka is a partnership contractual on the profit and losses. You have to know that wakala, for example, is an agency. What else? Istisna, for example, is a contract manufacturing. Salam is a forward sales. Qabd is possessions. Milkiya is ownership. Baya is a sales, and so on and so forth. So basically, you have to understand what these terms means in the context of Islamic finance. So number one is a term that is alien, so you have to familiarize yourself with those terms. And number two is the concept, what these terms means in the context of FIQH AL-MUAMALAT, in the context of Islamic finance. The other challenge that you may face is the pronunciations, how to pronounce this term. If it is, especially if it is the first time, you have to train yourself also to pronounce it. So kafala is kafala, and takaful is takaful. You cannot say tafakul. So takaful is takaful. Musharaka mutanaqisa. You have to pronounce it in such a way that is sounding correct. So you can't basically, especially in the first pick-up of the words and the pronunciations, it is very important to pronounce it correctly and avoid to be familiar with the wrong pronunciation. So kafala is kafala. Takaful is takaful, tawarruq is tawarruq, musharaka mutanaqisa is musharaka mutanaqisa, salam muwazi, istisna muwazi, and so on and so forth, because we have experienced that sometimes we hear even from professionals and experts in Islamic finance that sometimes they may pronounce the terminology in Islamic finance incorrect. So you have to be careful on that. The other challenge that you may face is the spelling, meaning how to spell the term. And here you may be confused because sometimes different jurisdictions may have different spelling. For example, Shariah, sometimes it is spelled with SY in Malaysia, and outside Malaysia it is spelled SH. For example, Mudaraba, Musharaka, all this contract, it's end with, in Malaysia, for example, spelling EH, but in other jurisdictions, like for example, spelling of IOFI, it is with A only, Murabaha A, Musharaka A, and so on and so forth, but here, for example, AH. In some countries like Bangladesh, Mudaraba is spelled as Muzaraba, double Z. So different jurisdictions, sometimes they have a different rules of spelling, so you have to be careful and don't jump to a conclusion that those writers are wrong or this spelling of terminology is wrong, but you have to appreciate from where this writer is coming, or from where this speaker is coming, or from where this trainer is coming, because sometimes it reflects the custom and the jurisdictions that that expert is operating with. So you have to be careful, especially when you read articles or when you read books, you may face this kind of challenge. So spelling is also things that you may face in this course of learning. The other issue is that having a synonym of the same term. Sometimes one term could be pronounced or could have another term which can be used in an exchangeable way. For example, salam and salaf are the same. So if someone says salaf, don't say, hey, you are wrong. So it is actually correct. Either you say salaf or you say salam, both are correct. For example, mudaraba, muqarada, qirad, muamala, all are the same and all are correct. If someone saying, here's someone talking about qirad, you have to understand that he's talking about mudaraba. If someone is talking about muqarada, you have to understand that he's talking about mudaraba, even though the most popular term basically is mudaraba. So the most popular term is mudaraba, but someone may be driven by a different term like qirad or muqarada based on the school of law of the affiliations of his madhab. He may prefer the terminology that is popular within his school, which is not popular, for example, in your jurisdictions or in your learning process. So you have to be careful on that and don't jump to conclusions the person is wrong. Like for example, sanadat and sukuk are used sometimes with the same interchangeably. So either you say sanadat Islamiyah or you say sukuk, they are basically the same. So you have to be careful on that and make sure that the most popular terms may have a different terminology that could be used in Islamic finance as well. The other challenge that you may face is that a trade-off between either you use the English version, for example, you use wakala, you use, for example, agency, you use a partnership, you use safekeeping, you use a contract manufacturing, you use a forward sales, or you choose the Arabic one like wakala, salam, istisna, and so on and so forth. So which one you should use and which one is preferred to be used? Is it to use wakala or agency? Is it salam or future sales? Is it istisna or contract manufacturing? Is it wadiya or safekeeping? Is it tawarruq or monetization? So which one you should use? Is it hamish al-jiddiya or security deposits? And so on and so forth. So, well, the choice is yours, number one. So it's up to which one you use, because at the end of the day, both are correct. But if you come to my recommendation, I think you should use both. And if you don't use both, you have to understand the English versions and its meaning and the Arabic version and its meaning. And the reason for that is sometimes you may hear a speaker, he doesn't want to use the English version. Then he will end up using throughout his presentation the Arabic version, even he's speaking in English. So you will be lost in that kind of environment. For example, if you want to talk about tawarruq, he will talk about istisna, he will say as-sani, al-mustasni, or as-salam, al-musallam ilayh, al-musallam fih, or he talk about mudaraba, he will say rabbu salam, al-mudarib, and so on and so forth. So you will know what this guy is talking about. So because he chose to prefer the Arabic term in describing the Islamic finance contract and its basically components and aspects. So either you choose either one or both, but bottom line, I think you have to understand what istisna means and what future what so-called sales means, and the various terminology that could be used. So you will be in the loop, you will be on the same page with the speaker, or be on the same page with the writers, because the writers also sometimes he may not use the English version for whatever reason, because there is no thing wrong and there is nothing right. Basically both are right, but the problem is if you don't have the benefit of both, you may get lost if the writer or the speaker choose one of them. So this is briefly the main challenges that you may face in the course of learning Islamic finance or FIQH AL-MUAMALAT. Now I would like to briefly talk about the solutions. What are the solutions that help you basically to overcome these challenges? I think number one, we have to understand it is a process of a long-term learning. So you cannot digest all these terms. You can't understand them in a very short period of time. So it's not an overnight work, it is a long-term process of learning. So you have to be patient, and you have to have the commitment, and you have to come to keep the touch with the Islamic finance presentations, reading, and so on, so on, as we are going to see. So number one, you have to understand it is a long-term process and commitment. It is not an exercise that can be overcome overnight. The other solution that we can provide is a glossary. So you have to have a glossary reference, like for example, Bank Negara, they have at the end of the policy documents glossary, and the Sharia Advisory Council Sharia resolutions, especially the second editions, they have at the end the glossary. So I think it's good to have this kind of glossary whereby you receive the Islamic term, the Arabic translation, and the concept. So basically you will hit three birds with one stone. So if you have this kind of glossary with you, so you will keep reading and be in touch with it, on and off, until slowly, you overcome this issue. Try to look at the descriptions of this video. You may have a link, so just click to the link, then it will direct you to some useful references that we provide to help you as a solutions, or even some of the PDF presentations that could be useful for you. The other thing is reading in Islamic finance. So you have to read, then you cross-tell what is this, you try to get the explanation, and every day you will cross one term, every day you cross one term, learn the spelling, learn the pronunciation, learn the concept, and it is again long-term process learning. The other one is attending conferences. So that's one where you're networking and you listen to the presentations, you mix up around with the people, and you will be discussing some aspects and some issues related to Islamic finance, and those terms will be crossed throughout the conversation. Also attend workshop, attend training. So they are very good in capacity building and human capital developments. Go through some certifications. Again, as I mentioned, it is a learning process that you have to take, and have at the end of the day have a soft library about Islamic finance that help you to keep reading on Islamic finance. Then you cross those terms on a daily basis. I think this is in my view, this is the most challenging aspects that you may face during the course of learning Islamic finance or FIQH AL-MUAMALAT, and this is some of the solutions that can help you to overcome. But as a high-level advice, it is a process of learning that could be overcome, inshallah, with time. With this, thank you very much, and see you inshallah in the coming sessions. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.